I packed my life into 2 suitcases, determined to escape the toxic corporate world that had consumed 5 years of my life. What I didn't expect was finding my billionaire ex-boss standing at my new apartment door 3 states away, holding a contract with my name on it. Before I share how a billionaire tracked me down after I quit, tap that like button and subscribe for more unbelievable true stories that'll make you question everything about wealth and power. Have you ever felt like you were drowning in success? That's exactly where I found myself 3 months ago. My name is Naomi Wright, and for 5 years, I was the woman behind the curtain at Vertex Innovations, one of the fastest growing tech companies in the country. From the outside, I had it all: the corner office with a view of the San Francisco skyline, the six-figure salary that helped me pay off my student loans and buy my first home, and the respect of colleagues who turned to me when problems seemed unsolvable. But success has a weight to it that nobody warns you about. Those late nights turned into early mornings. Those quick weekend emails evolved into full working Sundays. That spark of passion I once had for creating intuitive software solutions that could change lives, it was flickering, threatening to extinguish completely under the avalanche of expectations and the suffocating corporate culture that seemed designed to extract every ounce of creativity from my soul without proper acknowledgement. And then there was Warren Pierce, billionaire, visionary, Time Magazine's Entrepreneur of the Year, my boss, the man who built Vertex from his garage into a tech giant. He had a particular way of making you feel simultaneously special and insignificant. "Naomi, you're the best mind we have," he'd say with that practiced smile that never quite reached his eyes, right before explaining why my name couldn't appear on the patents I developed. "It's about brand consistency," he'd explain. "The market responds to my name." I still remember the day I watched him on stage at the National Tech Summit, presenting my algorithm for predictive healthcare outcomes, as if the midnight revelations and months of coding had been his. The audience applauded, investors reached for their checkbooks, and I stood in the shadows, the black woman whose innovation was making another man rich while she remained invisible. It wasn't just one incident. It was the pattern, the subtle ways he would speak over me in meetings, the ideas of mine that would mysteriously become his vision in press releases, the promotions that went to less qualified colleagues who looked more like him. Each small injustice built upon the last until the weight became unbearable. So I made a decision that terrified me. I would leave. Not with a dramatic resignation that would burn bridges or label me as difficult or emotional, labels that stick differently to Black women in corporate America. No, I would leave quietly, with dignity, with my portfolio of work secured and my recommendation letters in hand. I would disappear into a new beginning where perhaps my voice could finally be heard and my contributions acknowledged. What I didn't know then, what I couldn't have possibly imagined, was that Warren Pierce didn't like losing what he considered his property. And in his mind, my brilliance belonged to him. I thought I was starting fresh, but he had other plans. Plans that would follow me across state lines, into my new life, and ultimately change everything I thought I knew about power, justice, and standing your ground. I remember my first day at Vertex like it was yesterday. The gleaming glass headquarters, the welcome package with top-of-the-line tech, and Warren's charismatic speech about changing the world. "You're not just employees," he told us. "You're visionaries." I believed him then. I believed in the mission. I believed in myself. That belief carried me through countless innovation sprints and product launches. I developed algorithms that predicted user behavior with unprecedented accuracy. My team looked to me for guidance, and for a while, that validation was enough. But 3 years in, the cracks started showing. The first time Warren presented my work as his own was during a board meeting. I was there, silently nodding along, thinking it was just a miscommunication. It wasn't. Last September, I created a revolutionary data architecture that could process healthcare information while maintaining strict privacy protocols. I spent months perfecting it, often sleeping on the office couch. When launch day came, Warren didn't just take credit, he erased me. My name disappeared from all documentation. When I confronted him privately, his response chilled me. "Naomi, no one will believe this came from you anyway." Those words echoed in my mind as I quietly began applying elsewhere. I found a position at Horizon Tech in Portland. Smaller company, smaller salary, but they valued, regardless of who created it. I prepared meticulously for my exit, backing up my work within legal boundaries, documenting my contributions, and planning a departure that wouldn't burn bridges. On my last day, I waited until the office emptied. I placed my resignation letter on Warren's desk along with my company badge. No dramatic showdown, no tearful goodbye, just a clean break. As I walked out of those glass doors for the final time, the weight lifted. I was free. Or so I thought. Little did I know that Warren Pierce had never let anyone leave on terms other than his own. And he certainly wasn't about to start with me. Portland welcomed me with open arms and constant rain. After years of San Francisco's tech bubble, there was something refreshing about a city that didn't revolve around the next big IPO. My apartment was half the size, but felt twice as much like home. For the first time in years, I slept without my phone beside me, without the constant anxiety of missing an urgent email. Horizon Tech was everything Vertex wasn't. My new boss, Layla, actually asked for my input during meetings. My team members collaborated instead of competed. When I pitched an idea for streamlining their customer feedback system, people nodded with genuine interest rather than calculating how to claim it as their own. I felt seen, valued, respected. "You bring a perspective we've been missing," Layla told me after my second week. Simple words that healed wounds I didn't realize were still open. 3 weeks in, I received my first strange email. "Missing your contributions at Vertex," it read from an anonymous account. I deleted it, assuming it was just a former colleague. Then came another. "Some departures are only temporary." The phrasing was unmistakably Warren's, that particular blend of philosophical and threatening. I changed my email password, convinced it was nothing. But then I noticed a black SUV parked across from my building for 3 consecutive days. Walking home from the grocery store, I felt eyes following me. At a cafe, the barista mentioned that someone had been asking about me, a well-dressed man with an expensive watch. The final straw came when my neighbor mentioned a man had been by, claiming to be an old friend, looking to surprise me. "Sharp suit, very insistent," she said. "Seemed important. I didn't give him your unit number though." That night, I double-checked my locks and pulled the curtains tight. The sanctuary I'd built was crumbling. My hands trembled as I searched Warren's name online, wondering what could possibly drive a billionaire to pursue a former employee across state lines. What I found gave me no comfort. 3 previous executives who'd left Vertex had been sued for intellectual property theft within months of their departures. Sleep eluded me that night. Tomorrow I decided I would confront whatever was coming, but I never got the chance to make the first move. The knock came at 7:32 a.m. 3 sharp raps that echoed through my apartment like gunshots. I knew before I even looked through the peephole. Some presences announce themselves before they're seen. Warren Pierce stood at my door in a charcoal suit worth more than 3 months of my new salary. His silver hair was freshly cut, his posture ramrod straight, the picture of a man who had never been told no and lived his life accordingly. "Naomi," he said when I opened the door, my body blocking the entrance. "You're a difficult woman to walk away from." His smile didn't reach his eyes, just like it never had in all our years working together. "What are you doing here, Warren?" My voice was steadier than I felt. Inside, my heart hammered against my ribs, but I refused to show fear. "Not in my own home, not anymore." He lifted a leather portfolio. "You took something that belongs to me." "I took nothing but my dignity," I replied. Warren laughed, that practiced chuckle that made investors feel like they were in on some private joke. "Your healthcare algorithm, the one we launched last quarter. Our legal team found traces of your personal coding signature embedded in areas you weren't authorized to modify. It was a lie. I knew it was a lie because I had been meticulous. I had created that algorithm from scratch, but I had done it on company time, on company equipment. Legally, it was Vertex property. I had accepted that bitter pill when I left. We can do this one of two ways, he continued, stepping closer. You can come back to Vertex. Executive position, doubled salary, actual credit on future projects. Or, he paused, letting silence intensify his threat. We pursue legal action for intellectual property theft. Your career in tech would be over. 5 years of suppressed anger boiled up inside me. This man had followed me across state lines to threaten me. This man thought he could own my mind, my future. You flew here to intimidate me. My voice rose. You have billions of dollars and countless employees. Yet you're standing at my door because one black woman walked away. Something flashed across his face. Surprise, perhaps. He hadn't expected resistance. I'm not coming back, I said. And I took nothing that wasn't rightfully mine to take. My skills, my experience, my self-respect. Warren's expression hardened. You have 24 hours to reconsider. After that, our lawyers contact yours. He placed a manila envelope against my door frame. Consider this a courtesy. After Warren left, I stared at the envelope for nearly an hour before finding the courage to open it. Inside wasn't the legal threat I expected, but something far more valuable: evidence, printed emails, internal memos, performance reviews, all documenting a pattern, not just with me, but with dozens of employees, predominantly women of color. The emails showed Warren and other executives explicitly discussing how to leverage diverse talent while ensuring credit remained with established faces investors trust. One memo from HR detailed how to manage expectations of minority staff through alternative compensation strategies rather than equitable recognition. My hands trembled, but not from fear this time. Warren had inadvertently given me the keys to his kingdom. In his arrogance, he'd handed me the folder to intimidate me with Vertex's legal resources, never realizing what else was inside. Evidence of systematic discrimination that no PR team could spin. I called in sick to work and spent the day researching. Within hours, I'd found 7 former Vertex employees whose stories mirrored mine. Jasmine Chen, whose machine learning breakthrough became Warren's TED Talk. Darnell Washington, whose security protocol was now a cornerstone of Vertex's platform. Gabriela Montez, whose UI redesign Warren presented to shareholders. By evening, I'd created a secure chat group. I have something you need to see, I wrote. One by one, they responded. One by one, their shock turned to resolve. They tried to erase us all, Jasmine wrote. Not anymore. We spent the next 2 weeks meticulously documenting our contributions, gathering additional evidence, building our case, not just for legal action, though our collective resources now made that possible, but for something more powerful: public accountability. The night before our deadline to respond to Warren's ultimatum, I received an unexpected email from his executive assistant, Vanessa. Warren doesn't know I'm contacting you. There's more. Meet me tomorrow. Vanessa, it turned out, had been quietly collecting evidence for years. I watched him do this to so many brilliant people, she told me over coffee, passing me a flash drive. I couldn't stop him then, but I can help you now. The final piece clicked into place. We had everything. The power had shifted. That night, I emailed Warren. I've reconsidered your offer. Let's meet. Not at Vertex. Neutral ground. The cafe we chose was public enough for safety, private enough for discretion. Warren arrived with his usual confidence until he saw I wasn't alone. 7 faces he'd likely tried to forget sat around the table. Jasmine, Darnell, Gabriela, the others. His expression faltered, just for a moment, before his PR smile returned. Quite the reunion, he said, taking the only empty seat. I placed a folder on the table. thicker than the one he'd left me. "We're not here to negotiate my return, Warren. We're here to negotiate terms for a new kind of recognition." For the next hour, we laid out our evidence: the emails, the memos, Vanessa's documentation, the multiple instances of intellectual theft, the pattern of erasing contributions from people who looked like us. "You built Vertex on our backs," I said. "Not just me, all of us." His lawyer mask slipped. "This is absurd. Nobody will believe that we were the real innovators," Jasmine interrupted. "They already do. We've each documented our contributions, source code timestamps, development logs, witnesses." Warren's eyes darted around the table, calculating his position like the businessman he was. The threat of a lawsuit wasn't just about money, it was about his legacy, his reputation. "What do you want?" "Money." I pushed a document toward him. "Proper attribution, public acknowledgement of our contributions, financial compensation for innovations you've profited from, and a new policy at Vertex that ensures this never happens again." The most satisfying moment wasn't his signature on our agreement 3 weeks later. It wasn't the substantial settlements each of us received. It wasn't even seeing our names finally acknowledged on patents and products we'd created. It was 6 months later when we launched Prism Collective, our own tech company founded on principles of transparent attribution and collaborative innovation. Former Vertex employees flocked to us, bringing their brill, something important. Sometimes you need to make noise. Sometimes your voice is your most powerful asset. And sometimes the beginning you're searching for isn't about leaving your past behind. It's about transforming it into something better. Today, Prism is revolutionizing the industry. And Warren, last I heard, he was implementing our attribution policy at Vertex. Sometimes, karma doesn't just come around, it transforms everyone it touches. So that's how a billionaire's attempt to silence me ended up creating one of the most inclusive tech companies in the industry today. Looking back, I realized that what Warren feared most wasn't losing my skills. It was losing control of the narrative. When one person speaks up, others find their voices too. And when we speak together, even the most powerful can't ignore us. The journey from that morning when Warren showed up at my door to where I am today wasn't easy. There were sleepless nights, legal threats, and moments of doubt when I wondered if fighting back was worth it. But standing here now, watching our team of brilliant minds create technology that's changing lives, people who might have been erased in other companies but are celebrated here, I know the answer. Your voice matters, your contributions matter, and sometimes the path to your greatest victory starts when someone tries to make you small. The very thing Warren tried to take from me, my dignity, my work, my future, became the foundation for something far greater than I ever could have built if I'd stayed in his shadow. If you're in a situation where your light is being dimmed, where your contributions are being claimed by someone else, remember my story. Remember that you don't have to accept erasure as the cost of success. There are other paths forward, paths where you can shine without compromise. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more true stories about finding strength in unexpected places. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that standing your ground can change everything, not just for you, but potentially for an entire industry. Drop a comment sharing your thoughts on workplace justice, and let me know if you've ever had to reclaim your power from someone who tried to take it. Thank you for listening to my journey. Remember, sometimes when they try to bury you, they don't realize you're a seed. And from that seed, something beautiful and unstoppable can grow.